I'm Ashton Addison from Blockwest Capital for Investment Pitch Media and the Crypto Coin Show. And today on Blockchain Interviews, we have Carlos Liang, the founder of Divvy.bet. Carlos, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for taking the time. I really do appreciate it.
Oh, thank you, Ashton, for having me on the show. Excited to be here today talking about Divvy.
Likewise, yeah, I was looking through, Solana protocols and some of the dApps that are coming out, and I was looking at some of the more popular ones that people actually like, and Divvy resonated with me a lot, and I really want to learn a little bit more from you and share it with the viewers as well. And I would love if you could just kick it off by explaining a little bit about Divvy and some of those solutions that you're bringing into the cryptocurrency space.
Absolutely. Well, first I want to thank you, for definitely having me here and recognizing us, as one of the standout projects in the Solana ecosystem. So, definitely means a lot to us, and we're definitely honored to be here. But without further ado, I'll go into what Divvy is and hopefully, educate, your mass audience on what we're trying to do here. So without further ado, here we go. So what Divvy is, right? Divvy is the next gen betting platform built on a blockchain that offers guaranteed payouts and instant settlements. And if that's not enough, Divvy also has a DeFi component to it. Now it enables anyone to be the house, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay, interesting. Well, what I've noticed with a lot of the blockchain ecosystems is that some of these ones that have an aspect of gambling, they really pick up really quickly, and they get a lot of traction. Maybe you can talk about that convergence between, how much of this is gambling, how much of this is risk management, and how much of this is DeFi.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're actually trying to marry everything, into one. Right. And, one of the things that I've noticed, in both the crypto industry and the gambling industry is that the risk tolerance there and the risk profiles are awfully similar. Right. And lately in the last year, the word degen has come up, and it's really, used to kind of brand everyone within the industry. So, I think it's pretty natural to kind of, go out to our, brothers and sisters on the other side of the coin that haven't fully dived into crypto technology or blockchain technologies yet, and often a platform where it allows them to do that. Right. And I do believe Divvy here, we do have the platform here that utilizes blockchain technologies to solve a lot of the pain points that are currently plaguing the gambling industry. And when you add the DeFi component to it, in my opinion, it's game over. It's something totally revolutionary, and it's going to redefine the way that people bet and use, blockchains.
Amazing. And yeah, you know what? I think the odds are probably a lot better in cryptocurrency than they are going to the casino or some traditional gambling. And every time I go to the casino, I'm always like, guys, I'm already gambling with my life in cryptocurrency. I don't need to go to the casino. But
right. Well, the only difference here now, though, is, when you walk to the casino, what does everyone know, right? The house always wins.
Yeah.
So now for the first time ever, we're providing people an opportunity to actually be the house, right? You don't always have to define the odds now and take what the statisticians, the odds providers give you. Now you can actually, park your funds with Divvy and have it grow alongside the house.
Yeah, I think that's an incredible point to make. And that's the beauty of these, permissionless, decentralized protocols is you can be on whatever side you want. And you can also see, what the house is doing or a little bit more of the numbers. And exactly. I know that you guys were working in the hackathon with Solana and you did really well. And I'm curious, where is Divvy at right now compared to where you guys were back then?
Yeah, it's well, I wouldn't say it's a totally different product. We've definitely grown a ton since that point in time, right? At the hackathon, that's when we formed the core team and really started building out what we envisioned the future of Divvy would look like. So since then, we've been successfully been able to build a Devnet platform, which is basically, a testing platform where people can take fake funds and kind of test out the platform, right? So that's been going on pretty well for us. And right now we're in the final sprint to really complete all the things that are remaining in order for us to release an MVP. But at the same time, as we've been exploring the space and kind of seeing what's out there, NFTs is something that we can't ignore, right? So we've been able to find a unique opportunity to actually add that product down our roadmap, where now we're creating NFTs where they're more than just a JPEG, right? They have a huge community. They're going to have a huge community behind it. And also, we realized a unique opportunity for us to leverage our Divvy ecosystem to bring, NFTs, these benefits and utilities that are not seen in any of the other NFTs. And also, we've also added a lot of innovative, new types of games onto our protocol that will be released shortly after mainnet. The difference, I guess, to summarize the difference between now and then is that, we're on the way of building a real working product, and our roadmap is much more fleshed out to now, we're building an entire ecosystem that we plan to really take the gambling industry by storm.
Definitely. And I think that's really important to have a DevNet. And from what I understand, you can go and you can try the games and you're not actually risking anything. It's just play crypto money, right?
Exactly. Yep. So, our entire platform is going to be stablecoin based with USDC first. So in DevNet, you'll be able to mint basically fake USDC and then use that and test the platform out as much as you want without, risking any actual money.
Very cool. That's great that that's live now. And you were talking about moving towards mainnet release and adding more games. Is there any tentative timeline on what are the next steps for Divvy leading up to that?
Right. So right now, we're mainly focused on V1 mainnet, right, to make sure that we're able to release, an MVP platform that, unfortunately, it won't have all the bells and whistles that you would normally see, but, at least it would kind of give people an idea of the direction we're heading towards. And also it'll let the community be able to kind of come in early, test out the product with us, use the product, and actually provide feedback on which way we should go as well. Right. So, that timeline is about, an 8 to 10 week timeline before we get on mainnet. Right. We're going to do very rigorous testing and go through audits as well to make sure that we're bringing, the most secure and fair platform to the public.
Definitely. And yeah, speaking of audits and security, I'm guessing, people are contributing to the house fund, and then there's money sort of in a pot that's available as the games are played.
Exactly.
Obviously, that's going to be important to have security and auditing measures in the smart contracts to make sure there's no vulnerabilities, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's the number one thing, right? With everything going on in the blockchain space and DeFi overall, right? In order for the system to be completely trustless, people have to know that, at least the smart contracts are built in a way where it's secure, right? And look, at the end of the day, I don't think anyone's going to be able to capture all the loot, all the vulnerabilities, just because the technology is so new and whatnot. But we're relying on our auditors to kind of let us know, these are all the known vulnerabilities and also what they think the future vulnerabilities to be, and to make sure that we have all of these things patched so that we could do our best to secure everyone's funds, right? Because we're all part of this house together, so we got to look out for one another.
Definitely, Carlos. And I understand that with smart contracts, being open source and you can see the code, it's only secure until someone finds some new vulnerability that there's always a chance, but obviously you're doing the best that you can. And maybe the Solana ecosystem will help with that and the security and the integrity of the network. And maybe you can touch on why you chose Solana and that ecosystem to underlie the foundation of Divvy.
Absolutely. So, when I originally came up with the idea for Divvy, I was pretty set on having this on, some sort of EVM / ERC20 compatible chain. On Ethereum, it's just not really doable right now, just due to the cost of transactions and also how, the transactions per second, right? So if we were to do that, based on everything that's going on now, people would have to pay hundreds of dollars to really put in a wager. So for a $20 wager, you probably have to pay like $400 to do, right? And due to the speed of the blockchain, people that are advanced users of the blockchain can actually, cancel the transaction or even replace the transaction, right? So then, if you're trying to run that and also, a sports book at the same time, that would just never work. And that's when we identified Solana as the first chain that we see that that has the scalability to kind of support an enterprise product like this. And also because it's being built in Rust and taking a different approach from, Solidity and the way that Ethereum builds smart contracts, the way you do it in Rust is slightly more secure just because of the way it's been approached. And I think you can also see that, in the markets, right? There just hasn't been as many, DeFi projects have been hacked or compromised on the Solana ecosystem when you compare that to the Ethereum ecosystem. Definitely.
Yeah, no, I think that's safe to say. I haven't seen many on Solana. So hopefully you're in good hands there.
Yeah.
You did mention there with the DevNet, minting stablecoins, USDC, and working with that. I'm curious if there's other assets like some of the main digital assets that are available, like maybe Solana or Bitcoin in the platform? And also, is there a Divvy token that's used in the platform as well?
Yep. And the answer to that, I guess maybe I'll go a little backwards. Yes, there is going to be a Divvy token, but that's going to be more of a governance token slash, we're going to create some other benefits like you use within the Divvy ecosystem. The more tokens you hold, the more benefits you're going to be able to unlock, and we'll be announcing those pretty soon. But in terms of, could you repeat that first part of the question again? Sorry.
Yeah, I was just curious about other assets to gamble with
Yes.
besides stablecoins.
Mm-hmm. So, I had to kind of, fumble with that decision when I first started. And actually, I've decided that we're going to so far just stick with stablecoins. Reason being, with other crypto sportsbook that currently exist, oftentimes they'll, require you to use BTC, Ethereum, or the native asset tokens. But when you kind of think about the overall user experience, it actually makes it quite poor, right? And here's why. So for example, recently with crypto kind of, going into a little bit of a bear market, right? You see BTC go from 60 to around 34, 35K. So imagine you run a season long prop bet, right? Let's say, I want to bet that Pat Mahomes is going to win the MVP next season, right? And if this was denominated in BTC, not only do you have to convert, whatever you want to wager in USD into BTC, but you also have to deal with the volatility, right? So I wanted to kind of just get rid of all of that, right? You shouldn't have to worry whether Bitcoin is going to be up or down while you're wagering, right? So we've taken that all out, and that's why we chose to go with stablecoins first. And the reason why we found with USDC is because it's the most used coin in this used stablecoin in the Solana ecosystem. But we have, we fully have plans on our roadmap to integrate with other stablecoins such as USDT, DAI, and some of the other ones that are native to Solana, as well as branching into other tokens in the future if there is a demand for it. Right now we want to bring people a product that that closely resembles what they see on the Web2 side. So with everything denominated in the US, so there isn't as big of a hurdle when they're converting over. And then also at the same time, they'll be able to realize all the benefits that the blockchain provides.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense, Carlos. And you're already gambling. Why gamble twice with
right, exactly.
assets? So that makes a lot of sense. That's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And now looking down the road, I know you're early on, we're looking forward to the mainnet launch, but I want to hear like the vision in longer term, say 3 to 5 years from now. Where do you want Divvy to be at in the cryptocurrency space and in the gambling space?
Absolutely. In 5 years, I totally see Divvy as, when people talk about betting on crypto, it's going to be synonymous with Divvy, right? Mm-hmm. It's going to be the go-to place for people to wager anything on chain. And, we're going to go beyond Solana. Solana is really just a starting point, right? More of a proof of concept that this will work. And I think by releasing Devnet, it already proven that concept a bit. So, we aim to be totally chain agnostic, right? So we're exploring to whichever one to go to, whether it's near, Avalanche, Polygon, whichever one. But, we're definitely going to be chain agnostic. Also, I just mentioned that we're going to be supporting a ton of tokens. So really, there shouldn't be any limitation when it comes to people wanting to wager on the blockchain space and on chain. Right. And also in addition to that, right, our first version is going to be a sports book, but we're getting into, this entire thing is going to be a gaming ecosystem. So not only will we have the sports book to start, right, at the end of the 5 years, we're going to be supporting daily fantasy sports. All right. So similar to your DraftKings and FanDuels, we'll bring that on chain. Next is also poker, right? We're currently partnering with John Racenier, who's a top 100 poker player worldwide. And he's going to help us and bring all the expertise he knows in poker to build out, what we envision poker to look like on chain, casino games, and then also, innovative games that haven't really been seen before that have a DeFi element to it, such as no loss pools, no loss lotteries, and things of that nature. So yeah, we want to be synonymous with betting on chain within the next 5 years.
Very cool. Looking forward to all of that. And of course, the first steps are to get to the mainnet launch, to have the token release, start expanding the products. For the viewers that want to test out this Devnet and get in the community so that they can get on top of it when this mainnet does launch right away, what is the best way for them to stay in the loop and get involved with Divvy?
Absolutely. The best way would be to visit our site at Divvy.bet. which is right on the screen there. And from there, you'll be able to see all our socials that you can follow. And I would definitely implore you to join our Discord. That's where most of the community discussions happen, and that's where you'll be able to stay most up to date with everything going on with Divvy.
Awesome. Thank you, Carlos. I will leave the links to the socials and Divvy.bet in the description box for the viewers. Thank you so much for taking the time to come on. All the best with Divvy, and let's follow up in the near future.
Thank you. Awesome. Thank you so much for having me on, Ashton. This has been an absolute pleasure for me. And looking forward to speaking with you in the future as well.